The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Allison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events. Hey everyone, welcome to RAP Paranormal and Friends. It's been a hot minute since we've had these two on the show, and we're going to kind of do a little bit of a different topic with them tonight. But now we're introducing her not as Kelly McCarville, but as Kelly Nielson and Chris Nielson. So welcome, guys, back to the show. It's been a hot minute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It has been a bit. I attribute that to our crazy schedules. But
Yeah, you guys are absolutely crazy insane, and I don't know how you do it.
We've already got 20 weekends booked next year.
Oh, my lord.
Jeez.
Oh, my God.
I think we've got 4.
we're not done. Yeah. Does that count the 2 that we just booked today?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Holy shit balls. You guys are nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So because tonight we're going to kind of talk about the metaphysical aspect of things. We're going to talk about, tarot, crystals, etc., whatever Kim comes up with tonight. But for some of our new listeners, can you guys just kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves? Who you are, what you do.
Go ahead.
I gesture to you and you say go ahead. So yeah, we are, we go under the name Travelers Moon. Our primary thing is paranormal investigation, but that doesn't mean that neither of us are not familiar with the world of metaphysical. With Kelly being a psychic medium, myself being a shamanic practitioner, outside of the the typical spooky stuff, we do things like what we're doing next month, which is hosting things like intuitive retreats. Because outside of the technology use, we do also utilize our own abilities as people. The paranormal is a very human experience, and it's weird. It almost seems like the paranormal and the metaphysical almost always, like in certain sects, kind of bleed into each other in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I definitely think that unless you're being mindful about it when you're out on a paranormal investigation, sometimes you forget to pay attention to your intuitive abilities. You forget to pay attention to the different things, the more metaphysical side of things, like carrying the crystals with you while you're doing those investigations, and the cleansing and stuff afterwards. So
Yes.
It's important to keep both in mind, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first question I have for our listeners that might not know, what are crystals?
Pretty rocks.
That's what I said. I was like, yeah, I'm like, aren't they?
Well, I got
It's
rocks
not
in my
totally wrong.
driveway.
It's not totally wrong, but there are people that will fight you for saying things like that. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah. But it's all in perception, partially, because Kim was like, I've got rocks in my driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you go up to South Dakota, they have rose quartz rock in their driveways, you know, and like for us, the thought of driving on a rose quartz is like, no, don't do that, you know. So and everybody has this different opinion of what crystals are, but
they're polished, glorified rocks.
Well, and sometimes they're, I mean, they're sometimes not even polished.
It's true.
Basically, I mean...
Actually, I'm a big fan of, like, we were on topic of rough quartz. I do like a raw rough quartz as opposed to something polished because, you know, the expression of rose quartz is love and self-love, and I think the rough quartz is a nice little, like, metaphor for you gotta love yourself even through the rough patches, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, my understanding, and by no means am I a biologist or any...
I would. Yep. Oh gosh.
Geologist. The quartz, the crystals, the rocks, the gems, whatever you want to call them, were formed by different mineral deposits that are in the ground, and it's based on what was deposited there, what type of gem or crystal or rock forms there. So, I mean, that's kind of like the science side of it. But then they go past that into the belief that everything has energy. Everything has energy. And for whatever reason, crystals seem to take in certain types of properties associated to whatever type of crystal that is, whether it's the energy, the earth that it's picking up, or if it has something to do with where that particular gem or crystal was formed. I think all of that has to have some factors in to what energies must be deposited in.
Oh, yeah. And I think pretty much anything in nature has its own, for lack of a better phrase, medicine for us, whether that be, you know, certain plants have certain actual medicinal properties. Crystals also having their own, you know, more spiritual medicine for us. And you know, I'm not quite to the extent of believing, you know, if I, you know, put this bit of quartz on my third eye here, it's going to cure my cancer. But, you know, to use like certain examples, things like lapis lazuli, which is good for like the throat chakra, good for speaking your truth, speeching. Yeah, I'm
making up new words.
Things like that. Even if, you know, we are, you know, totally off base with how these things actually work, just keeping that as a talisman and a reminder is going to, you know, remind you to do that, to, you know, speak your truth, to communicate a little more clearly. And even if it's just the placebo effect working, doesn't that mean that crystal's not doing something for you?
Well, we've talked about this in presentations too, because a lot of the power that an item has comes from the beliefs and intention.
I say I saw the door.
Oh, our house is very haunted.
Pay no attention to the random door just opening behind us. It's fine.
It's really just a very chunky cat. But
kind of like Chris was saying, I'm not saying that the crystals don't have their own energy, because I wholeheartedly believe that they do. But I also think that a lot of our beliefs lend power to those crystals as well. And we talk about this when we're doing our presentations of like people say, what do you use for safety? What do you use to protect yourself? And we talk about how if I believe this crystal quartz is going to protect me, then that crystal quartz is going to protect me. Same as a Christian's going to believe that a cross is going to protect them, or different people with their different belief systems believe that this individual talisman, if you will, is going to protect them. So yes, I think crystals have their own energy, but then also that our intentions, our beliefs strengthen that, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because so yeah, you know, they say different crystals have different like properties of what they're supposed to do for you. Who came up with that? Do you know? Like, okay, somebody pick up a tourmaline and go, oh, this is gonna, you know, protect you against negative or healing properties, grounding properties. Like, I mean, how do you depict which one is gonna give you what? You know, or is it just something that we're supposed to, you know, say, you know, like you said, you just pick something up, if that talks to you, then maybe that's going to be your one that's going to protect you from all things.
I've never been asked that question before.
But
Yeah, it's one of those things you really give a whole lot of thought to. It's one of those things like you hear from somebody else who's heard it from somebody else.
yeah, I dreamt about it last night. It was going through my head, so I'm like, I gotta ask.
Maybe so much of it has to do with some sort of energy worker throughout the millenniums, like
It could very well be just collective knowledge.
experiences.
Yeah.
It could also be like if someone who's used to working with energy, used to feeling how something feels, might be able to pick up that individual rock and say, this is what this makes me feel. And over the years, with that repetitive response.
And it is kind of an amalgamation of things because if I botch this, but if you look at something like the stone turquoise, the indigenous peoples of America attribute that as a masculine energy, where the Chinese actually attribute the term turquoise as a feminine energy. And I might be getting that backwards. So it really isn't necessarily like a one-size-fits-all, this crystal means this. It does very much depend on, who or where you're getting your information from. You see a lot of correlations, especially with like New Age spiritual beliefs. People in like the crystal shops, they'll start noticing almost like a correlation between even something as simple as the color of the crystal in correlation to your chakras. For example, people go to red jasper a lot for like the root chakra. I mentioned lapis lazuli for throat. Amethyst is always going to be, the crown, third eye area.
I was looking to see if like there was anything in one of my little reference books about who got to decide, but
Yeah.
I've
just been thinking about that all day, and I'm like, who came up with it? Like, who came up with like, okay, this one's gonna mean this one's gonna help you with this, like.
But it also kind of goes back to the theory of who decided that when a ghost is interacting with you, an K2 EMF meter is going to go up.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with experiences, that people continue to have the same experience over and over and over, and that builds the validity of that being what it is or what it can do.
Kim?
It's getting there.
She's getting there. She's got a list of, she's got questions on her phone here, so.
I'm trying to which way. According to this, there are several crystals that you should not put together. Do you know some of them?
I don't know.
So, that can go from different aspects. You can think of it simply from like the actual chemical makeup of the crystal.
Like there's certain ones you can't lick.
Yeah, there's certain ones, like because of the crystal properties, that they can only be in certain type of places. Some you shouldn't put in sunlight, some you shouldn't put in water. As far as like the energy of the crystals, that this one shouldn't be put with that one.
You hear it, but you think like clear quartz and malachite, just because malachite's a big transformative stone. Well, quartz is generally thought of as an amplifier, and if you just amplify transformation, what you're producing is chaos. But again, that comes down to intention. If your intention is chaos, then by all means put those together, but I don't know why you would want that.
No, hell no.
And I think of the properties of crystals almost as like personalities, and just like with people, certain personalities don't mesh. So yeah,
That's true.
I've heard of it. I'm very open to the idea. I typically don't carry more than one or two at a time anyway, so
I think that, like you said, with the intentions, even if they're ones that don't naturally work together, there may not be situations where you do. Like, to go back to your example of malachite crystal, in a normal given day, I would say that you don't want that. But what if what you need is chaos to happen to literally stir everything up to get it to settle where it's supposed to? I think it would depend. But yeah, just like you should put two certain people in a room together because of their energy, maybe it's not good to put this and that crystal, in really close proximity. I don't know that there's any type of situation that you put them together and like literally boom happens, you know.
Right.
But I've
Sodium and oxygen. No, sodium's oxygen's gas. I'm gonna come up with a couple.
You're gonna go.
There are plenty of solids that shouldn't be going together.
Now I have science experience.
No, we won't.
Experiments and
We
they've-
will not.
Oh my god, that would be interesting.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Boom, I moved in with you guys.
That's fine with me.
Is there one crystal more powerful than the other to somebody, or if it's just mind content, or?
I think that to somebody is very important.
Yeah, most definitely.
I wouldn't say there's a be-all, end-all, like the best crystal. It all very much just depends on what you need at that time.
Yeah. So, like for example, we host the Psychic and Paranormal Expos throughout the state of Iowa, and one of the vendors that comes in, the business name is actually Namaste Therapy, I think, but everybody calls him Ray the Rock Guy. He's a rock guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he does, is he will come up and he feels the person's energy, and based on that, he's like, this is the rock that you need. So he'll show them the rock, and then he'll give them this little crystal diary book to say, here, this is what it says about the rock. And I mean,
I've received one. It's the spookiest shit. It's so spot on.
Mm. Oh, I lost Kelly.
Lost a little bit of sound.
You can't hear me?
There you
we
go.
go.
Now I can.
Well,
So
same microphone, so that was weird.
yeah, that was really bizarre.
But that's what Chris was saying was 100% correct, that there's a correct crystal, a most powerful crystal for a particular person
Mm-hmm.
on that particular day, even. Because if I'm super stressed, had a horrible day at work, it may be this crystal that's best for me, where if I'm nervous about a situation, that crystal's going to be better for me. Or if I'm feeling very floaty and a little absent-minded, then a different crystal, you know. So even an individual, it can change day by day about what's going on with them.
Gotcha. I had a question to go off of that, but now I can't remember it. My mind is whoosh.
Okay.
What, you got something?
Nice.
No? Oh. So let's say somebody is like a very stressed out, anxious person. What would you suggest as like a crystal that might be able to help them with that? Like, what should they look into, or?
I would say howlite, very calming stone, aquamarine. If it's more like emotional regulation, and it's mostly because I'm a sucker for it. Moss agate, it's gorgeous.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's very pretty. It's green, go figure.
Oh, green's
It's
my favorite
kinda-
color.
It's kind of green. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's like moss embedded inside of like a more like
It's so weird. Why is Kelly cutting out and Chris is crystal clear?
Man, we're gonna. Sorry, I would say sorry, sound people.
You're good.
But like amethyst is going to be good for it too, in different aspects, that it's going to help provide a little bit of that calmness, but it also is going to help give you the strength and the courage to figure out how to help yourself better than maybe you were doing on your own. Yeah, I mean, again, it all kind of just depends on what's the drivers of the stress or the anxiety, what's the drivers of the whatever it is that you're feeling in that particular moment. So.
I don't know. I have a bag of things up there that I've collected over the years. I was drawn to them as a child, you know. My parents and I would go on vacations and we go to different caves, and you walk out, and in the gift shop they had the little different areas, and I would just pick out ones that, you know, I liked, and now I have bags upon bags of these well, I called them rocks back then, pretty rocks, but now they're crystals, but whatever.
But
I don't even know what the hell
still
they
get
are.
things out of rocks too.
Yeah.
I mean, just rocks will travel all the time, and of course, only from places that it's 100% legal to take a stone home with you.
Mm-hmm.
We have gathered stones and moved them home with us, and yeah, they're just stones.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always anything fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong, we've hit some of the rocks and gem shops and dropped a penny or two on some really pretty big specimens. But
yeah.
But yeah, we'll just be out on an adventure, and I'm like, I want to take that rock home with me.
The problem is, a lot of the times we're on the edge of Lake Michigan, and she's pointing to it as probably a 300-pound piece of granite.
There's that too, yeah. He's big and strong. There's no reason that he shouldn't get my rock if I want it. He likes heavy things.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
My grandma used to do that when we went on vacation. She'll bring a rock back from every state she went to and built a wall. My dad said that there's no more room in the trunk.
And sometimes it isn't even like the rock itself. Like on one of our adventures, we came across a creek bed that was full of fossils. Like, I was almost uncomfortable walking through it because you could not step where you weren't stepping on the fossil.
It was like these huge slabs of limestone, and it was just tons of not just like, oh, it's broken in and down in weird ways and it's probably a fossil, like very clear, like spirally crustaceans and cephalopods.
Oh, that's cool.
It was the coolest thing. So we took a smallish. I mean, it's smallish. And then my good little shaman left an offering and did some drawing.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's not always the pretty, shiny, colorful, polished ones. It's everything has that energy. We talk a lot about limestone when we go on our investigation. If you know, we're in the area that we're in, our limestone, or like when we do our Spook Cave public investigation, we're in a limestone bluff, and we talk about that being an aspect of it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I have buckets and buckets of rocks at my parents' house because I'd go down to the beach that we live at, and I would just dig around for rocks, and if I liked it, I took it home. And that's now there's just buckets of rocks at my parents' house just sitting there that I never polished or did anything with. I just liked them.
And that's an interesting thing because you hear like a ton of people do that. So it is fascinating to me that we just as human creatures have this fascination to like see even the most mundane rocks. Like, I like that one. I want to keep that one. And you hear a lot of people, do that throughout their lives.
Yep.
Even this room, though, like this is our spare room, and it's literally empty right now because we're trying to get it.
Is there a bag of geodes in here somewhere?
There's a 5-gallon bucket of geodes behind
Holy
us,
shit.
and there's a shoebox full of rose quartz, and
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what else is in there, but like this is our spare room. And
Oh,
we
my
have
gosh.
just so many rocks and gems and crystals in here too.
That's
Well,
insane.
that's just like when we go to investigate. I'll go clear to the end of the driveway, pick up a rock, and bring it home with me from every place we investigate.
Yep.
Yep.
I got a shelf of them.
Yep, she's starting her collection.
It's because it's fun.
It is.
Well, my
Not
fa-
that we are supporting anybody taking things that they're not supposed to.
I
That's
take
right.
small rocks. I don't take very big ones. They ain't gonna
I
miss
don't know
one
why I
little
don't
rock.
have a 300-pound Lake Michigan rock yet.
Because there's almost never room in the trunk.
My favorite rock was from the roof of Indiana State.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did. You
I
did
have
get that.
questions.
What?
Why were you on the roof?
Because you can go up there and investigate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. There is that spot.
He wouldn't go up there.
No.
It was cool, but I was up there when it started like storming, and that was kind of neat to be up there. I'm like, it'd be cool to like set a lounge chair up there and just like be able to like look up at the sky from that view.
Oh, heck yeah.
I forgot you could do that. My brain was picturing Kim's crazy little ass out on top of the roof, just walking around.
I'm getting a damn rock.
Tell me relieved that we can't, a single one of us, see her doing this.
No, I know. I could see her doing it, definitely.
Uh-huh.
She's a little ninja. Nobody would even know that
Yeah,
she was up there and back
exactly.
down.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yep. That's an idea of Melbourne.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. This wasn't giving you ideas. This was adding to what not to do list.
Yeah, they said last time. What did I... Oh, I was like, it's nice out. We should be outside getting some sun. And they're like, why don't you just go get up on the top of the roof at Malvern? I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm going to get right on that.
Yeah, you go out that one window and over by Hank's room, across from Hank's, there's a window. You can go right out on that flat roof.
Oh, geez, she's already thought about it.
Actually, down in the nursing wing, the building's like half in the ground anyways, so you could probably hop up there, and if you fell down, it wouldn't be too tragic.
No, the only reason I know that flat part is that's where we had to scoop the water off the roof when it was leaking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Chris went out there and did that. That's right. I remember that.
Okay, next question. What happens when crystals vibrate?
My brain
Like
went
it-
bad places.
Oh, don't.
Like
Oh my
of their
God.
own accord, or
It is very scientific.
if they're,
Is what she.
or are you talking about like the specific resonance of certain crystalline structures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like their properties and things and how they can conduct different things. Yeah.
They can conduct heat, electricity, or even vanish, it says.
I'm familiar with the up until the vanishing one.
That part I didn't understand.
Yeah, what
I've
the?
had crystals vanish, but it's always been of my own doing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Same.
No, that's more of a physical science. Kind of
It
geology
is.
Question.
It literally is.
I just wondered when I feel like a crystal vibrating for me, is it truly physically vibrating, or is it just the energy of the crystal interacting with my energy that makes it feel like it's
And that's what I was just going to say is like I do hear plenty of people say they feel the sensation of it vibrating, even though it's not obviously like to anybody else visually it happening.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is like I don't know that I've ever really held a crystal in my hand and watched it being in my
No, that would be absolutely incredible.
But most definitely I've picked up crystal and I'm like, oh gosh, that is vibrating.
Mhm.
You know, and I think it's just the energy that's coming off of it. But again, you have to think of that crystal as an energetic object that can ebb and flow just like anything else. And think about how if you've been around a person who is super happy or super sad or whatever their energy is heightened to, you can feel that coming off of them. So why would you not feel that coming off of another object that has energy as well? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
I
why
see
would a
that
crystal
point.
have heightened energy at any particular point? I don't know if I know the answer to that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the Earth's constantly putting out electromagnetic fields. If you're looking at it from a specific, like, scientific reason, if you're looking more spiritually, it could be very much the person at the time. Something about it's either like a calling from the crystal, being like, hey, I'm exactly what you need right now, or maybe you're meshing and you're like just kind of jiving just right that it's, you know.
I suppose it could also be too like if you just cleansed your crystals, so like it's getting its cleanest, strongest flow at the moment or something. But yeah, I think of it too kind of like Reiki, like, you know, if you've ever had Reiki done, the person will lay a hand on you and you hear people say your hand got so hot, and they didn't do anything to heat up their hand. It's just the energy that's transferring from the person to person that made that hand feel so hot. So again, a transference of energy is going to make things heat up, or a drawing of energy could help make something cooler. Kind of the theory of why it gets cold when there's a spirit around, it's drawing that energy in. So I mean, that would be my logical, and all of this, I guess we need to preface most of our answers with, this is our truth, this is what we believe or have learned throughout the years. We are by no means experts, because I don't know that there is a crystal expert.
I'm sure there's crystal experts.
There's
And they're geologists.
energy truly works from it? Can anybody?
Hmm?
I don't know about that one.
I don't think there's anybody who can tell us 100% how energy
Right.
works.
Oh, they froze.
Oh, they're back.
They're back now. It's like
Why was our immediate thing to do the same?
I know. It was like yeah, it was
Totally
hilarious. Oh my god, that's tripping me out.
We both did it.
I know, that was crazy. Ow. Oh my gosh, oh god, I wish I could just, I wish my brain was like working right now, because I had a question pop in and now I can't remember it. Like, it was a good question. It's gonna come up at some point and I'm just gonna blurt it out, but frack.
You need a little notepad beside you when you're sitting someplace. When those questions pop into your head,
I can just
you can write them down before your ADHD pushes it out and the next thing comes in. Because that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I'll do it during meetings. I'll be making notes so I can go like, okay, I know this may not be in context of what we just got done talking about, but this is what I've been thinking the whole time, so here we go.
Yeah, no, it was a good question. It was going along the lines of what we were talking about, but do you think I can remember it now? Hell no, I can't. Like, I am off in La La Land here. What?
Is there a crystal that glows in the dark?
Oh.
There are.
I mean,
Can I tell you what?
uranium has a crystalline structure, and I'm pretty sure that glows.
I'd never heard of that one. Hackmanite? Are you familiar with that?
There's also crystals that react to different types of light. I know that because.
Oh yeah, there's certain things like under a UV light will.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous. Uberlight,
Is
sodalite will do it.
Yeah, because Dustin and Dana's got some that
Calcite.
glow under black lights and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I remember my question.
Yay!
Oh,
I'm like raising my hand. Don't mind me, I'm really loopy right now. So, you hear about people setting their crystals out, like on a full moon and things, to like energize them or re-energize them or whatever it may be. Is that, I mean, do you do that with all of them? Or are there some of them that you shouldn't do that with? Or is it good just to set them out there and kind of get them revamped? I've never done it, so.
Yep. No.
yeah, no, you're good.
There's kind of different theories of the reason why you would set your crystals out. There's people do it different ways. They'll set them out in the moonlight. They'll set them in the sunlight. Some people bury their crystals.
Bury them in salt.
Some people, bury them in salt. Some people will put it in running water. The theory of everybody doing this is kind of twofold. One thing is they're trying to cleanse that crystal, which, if you think about, again, that transference of energy, like if I am carrying around a piece of black tourmaline because there's just a lot of negativity around me, and it's drawing in all that negativity, at some point it needs to let go of that negativity. So you'll want to cleanse it.
Right, yeah.
But it also, in my brain, I think of it like recharging. I think of it like your cell phone. It's been doing all this work and putting out all this energy this whole time. I'm going to plug it in and recharge it, you know. Now, I go moonlight because I'm a moon person. So for me, the moon 100% makes sense. But I also think that, like, flowing water is really good for things too. However, you have to be very careful what you put in water, because not all stones should be put in water.
Right.
So, but I know you have some thoughts too.
Yeah, no, I'm just about to say, honestly, for me, it depends on what I have near me. I've been known to sage rocks. I've been known to sane rocks with juniper. Flowing water. I'm not confident enough to bury it. I love the idea. I'd never give it, but I'd put a little flag in it and everything, and I'd still lose it. There's this Morbius squirrel in the backyard, and he's just a fucking unit. He's precious.
His body has got to be that big round.
Oh, like, damn.
It's
on a 9-inch round.
It's it's like Nerf football.
Wow.
They were having a grave on the table I was working. So
Oh,
I was
damn.
gonna try to get a video, but I missed it. There was like 6 of them out there just running around the back. It was the best thing ever.
Oh.
I squirreled.
You squirreled. Oh my gosh. We always have our squirrel moments. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. God, there
I
was.
also don't want to get my crystals dirty. That's what I won't bury them. Because, like, not only am I scared of losing them, but I want to take something that pretty and put it in.
But
the dirt.
they literally came from the dirt. The idea of putting
yeah.
it back into the earth, it's going back to where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's just a weird thing to say out loud. No, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a weird thing to say out loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what is going on with Kelly. She just keeps getting, like...
Oh, yeah, because she's backing up from the mic, I think.
I don't know.
Should be. No, you mentioned it right after you back way up.
Mm-hmm. I do the same thing. I'm all over in my thing, and then my sound gets all whacked up because I can't sit still. So, Kim's shaking her head at me. I'm sorry. What you got?
What crystal should you put under your pillow?
Hmm.
Well, it depends. What do you want?
It's pink.
It's
Nothing should go under your pillow, though, because you move your pillow and you're going to end up laying your face on it and you'll have a permanent rock indent on your face.
Oh, gosh.
This is my theory. This is my theory.
Who wants to sleep on a damn rock?
Right? God, there's a pink one and I can't think of the name of it.
It's a ruby. Oh, it's pink tourmaline.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Certainly.
Which is, actually conducive of a good night's sleep. If you want to astral project, I could recommend amethyst.
Ooh.
I say,
I
yeah, for removing bad dreams.
Mm.
think anything for
Mm-hmm.
is going to help too. 'Cause
Yeah. And like I said, it depends on what what's your mission. Are you
Mhm.
looking to, receive messages and dreams? Are you looking to just get a good night's sleep? I want to say I've just put in the last couple of years Celestite into a dream bag for somebody. Yeah.
They say rose quartz will help get rid of your nightmares.
Interesting. I don't know if I really have any nightmares.
that seems
I just have some weird ass dreams.
counterintuitive because rose quartz is going to help you get in touch with emotions and almost enhance feelings. So I would think.
But it's almost entirely it's usually positive feelings though, not just all of them.
Yeah. Interesting. I have no idea. I just don't think I could sleep with a rock under my pillow.
My pillow's hard enough. I don't need a rock underneath it either.
That's the thing. The piece of pink tourmaline that I have is probably baseball sized.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I definitely don't want that under my pillow.
Oh, no way,
But
Jose.
it's absolutely gorgeous. It's this light pink and white stripey. It's a rough piece of
So pretty. Yeah, you don't want to. If it's rough, you don't want to scratch yourself with it. My crystals stay in my bedroom, the drawer next to my bed, in my little side table or whatever.
That's where they stay when we travel too.
My bad.
I don't know if I can put crystals in a drawer when we travel. I would forget something somewhere, and I would.
Well, she leaves them at home in the drawer instead of going with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forget. I do.
Get dusted some pyrite. Because I was referencing my little book here. Pyrite helps people with snoring.
Oh gosh, and he has a definite snoring issue.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
We'll just give him a piece of pyrite and not tell him why.
Stick it in his pillow.
Make it a guise as a gift.
Yeah. Here, just make sure every night when you go to bed you have this with you.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna have it in the shape of a penis?
I am now. So pyrite's also very like cubical in structure. Like I've seen it develop in like just a perfect square. And exactly, that's like the last shape you would think you could turn into something phallic. But can you imagine like an 8-bit like a 1980s Mario dick made out of pyrite?
We're going down the rabbit hole, but that's just funny because that
don't care.
That just popped into my head. You guys and he would love it. That'd be something he would cherish forever if you did that.
Oh yeah,
for sure. What else you got, Kim?
I was reading here. Who shouldn't wear tiger's eye and who should?
Interesting.
Again, it's going to be situational, but tiger's eye has a lot to do with like strength and courage. And so if you are heading into a situation where you're feeling a little timid about it, or if you need just a little bit more bravery, a tiger's eye definitely can help with something like that. I mean, I guess you could look at the other side of that then and go, if somebody is already a little bit aggressive, then maybe tiger's eye wouldn't be the best thing for them to be.
Yeah, but it's also good for like sorting out emotions too. So.
Oh, we lost him
There's
again.
so many different properties, and
there you're back. You're back.
like with people, I mean, stones are going to have more than just one property to them. So like, you're not going to be able to say, well, this stone is only going to do that, or this stone will always be good for this or that, you know? So like, it's hard to say always. But I don't know. I usually, when I recommending tiger's eye to somebody, it's usually because they're nervous or scared about a situation, or they need the courage.
A little self-confidence boost.
Go do something. Yeah.
I do have one of those now. I do have a tiger's eye because I
that's
got it out of the gumball thing from
somebody that
Rebecca.
is Pisces is supposed to be self-confidence and growth.
And I'll tell you, I just flipped open one of my books, and the first thing my eyes fell on was tiger's eye. Tiger's eye reinforces Leo's mental powers and helps him become more inward-looking. Thus, he can come to grips with his weaknesses and overcome limitations. Then he will discover that well-being and happiness depend more upon one's spiritual development than an outward measure of success.
Interesting.
Ooh, for the Virgo. It leads me away from overly structured activities. It lightens the burden of daily life. Maybe I need some tiger's eye in my life.
I think I got one at home.
I do have one. I got that, from Rebecca's thing. Yeah. I do have
I've
that.
got most everything at some point, but
I don't know what the hell all I have in that bag. I don't have no idea. I need to look
3
through
or 4
it.
shades of tiger's eye upstairs.
Ooh.
yeah, there's like green tiger's eye and blue tiger's eye and red.
I have the browns.
I like tiger's iron. Iron. It's got like these gorgeous, like pewter colored stripes.
Oh.
So pretty. So pretty.
That would be pretty. That would be. Do you have anything more else, or anything else on this?
I think I've covered most of the questions I've found.
Okay. Well, let's
on crystals anyway.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about tarot before we wrap things up. I mean, I know I've done one before with some guy who's like, I don't know how, he's like into the scientific approach of tarot or something of that nature, which was kind of interesting to hear, but I don't know a lot about it. I know you read things off a card. Like, can you tell us a little bit about this?
So, tarot card reading, honestly, people don't know when reading cards came to be. And like the first recording of it, I think, was in the
1400s in France.
Yeah, something like that. So that was when it started being documented. And it really is just a form of divination where it's a tool to help people tap into the divination. And specifically with tarot or oracle cards, the cards themselves will give you specific meanings rather than just like if you're doing a psychic reading where you just whatever your simple abilities are without any sort of a tool. But tarot cards are a very structured deck. There's major and minor arcana. There's 4 suits typically in the minor arcana and 26 major arcana. God, it's been forever since I've done this.
Man, you're about to teach a class on this.
But then so the major arcana are like the power cards. They're the ones that influence or empower any of the cards that are around it. And then the minor arcana is broken up again into the 4 different suits, and each suit kind of represents its own thing. So some of them are like feelings and emotions. Some are tangible items. Some of them are conflict, and so each suit has its own meaning, and then each number has its own meaning. So like if you get the Ace of Cups, it's usually the beginning of some sort of an emotion or relationship, where what you think of it kind of like a peak. When you get to the 5 or 6, you're reaching that peak where things are about to start changing from whatever they've been and going a different direction. And then when you get to the 9 and 10s, you're reaching the end of whatever that path is. So your tarot card and its structure is very, very defined. That doesn't mean that you can't still have a million different themes to your tarot deck. If you go, everybody ever go searches tarot decks, I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of themes. But it's structured. The Ace of Cups almost always should mean the same thing. The Ten of Swords should almost always mean the same thing. Now there's also oracle decks, which basically the same concept. It's a card that has a meaning that you read, but oracle decks don't come with the same structure. They can be any number of cards. There's nothing that says thou shalt have this many cards in it. And there's absolutely no direction as far as what the cards have to mean. It's completely and solely up to the artist or the creator of the deck. So you can have, for example, there's a crystal themed oracle. I think I've got 2 different crystal themed decks that are oracle cards. So that author would, for example, if it's the Rose Quartz card, they're going to try to obviously pull in some of the properties of what Rose Quartz is. But if it's a fairy oracle deck, they may have a fairy of the forest, and it's whatever they've decided that particular card means. The thing with any card deck that you're reading, though, you have to keep in mind that the card itself is just a tool. It's not an end-all be-all. It doesn't mean that it's 100% right. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still make sure that you're using your own intuition and getting your own interpretations for what those cards mean. Because just because they may say, you know, you read the book and this is what the book says that card means, if it completely doesn't fit in with the cards that are around it, or it simply feels wrong, you have to pay attention to that. So I know when we're doing like our intuitive classes, or when I've done tarot readings for people before, we'll be reading through the cards. I'm like, well, this is what the book says it's supposed to say, but that's wrong. This is what it's really telling you, you know, and it can be similar, but yet.
And at least for me, when I'm reading cards too, even if it is something that makes sense, like on card, it's also very important to keep in mind, I read it as this is the projection without any change.
Correct.
So, you know, if, you know, somehow I get, you know, in the cards, if, you know, if you do this, this, and this, it's going to lead to, promotion at work, or you're gonna, you know, land that hot baby you're looking for, or whatever. That's if you keep on that trajectory. If you decide that that's not something I want for some reason, you have the ability to change that. That's not, it's not a death sentence, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
Whether it's good or bad. I mean, you could be told you 100% have that promotion locked in, so you show up drunk to work the next day.
Oh, shit.
Well, guess what? You just lost that promotion. But if you are told that, hey, if you're going to be losing your job, or you're going to be in a car crash, or whatever the case may be, because of this, you can use your free will to change that path. And then the story that you've been told has changed. And that isn't just tarot cards. That's any sort of divination, any sort of reading that you're getting that has to do with the future. We can only see the path that you are currently on. If you use your free will to change that path, that picture has changed.
So, okay, so you see people, on here on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and they pull a card. So anybody essentially, like when they pull those cards, if it resonates with you, then is that kind of, I mean,
essentially, yeah. If you're looking at like one card pulls of like that somebody posts,
yeah, right,
on their timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, to me, that's kind of fascinating because you're taking the way my mind like makes this work for me is basically what we're doing is we are for a brief moment taking the randomness of the universe, which is shuffling cards, and gaining just brief moments of insight from the cards you pull. You've just made something like that twice as complicated by introducing the Facebook algorithm, and now it's like, oh, I was meant to see this from this person specifically. So I'd be very curious, like to take a poll or something, see like
right
if it's even more accurate that way.
Because how many people are out there doing those one card readings on TikTok, on Facebook? I don't see them all.
And that's what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just use the
exactly.
algorithm to the equation. Is that like an extra shuffle?
Yeah, what kind of spiritual guidance affected that algorithm to make that particular reading come in front of me?
Right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, you don't have a super deterministic aspect, what led you to go get that reading in the first, like get a reading in the first place,
Yeah. I know too, the days that we've done, we will sometimes, and we haven't done it for a hot minute, but we'll sometimes get on and do a live card reading for people, and we'll pull cards, and we may be reading for Kim, but that card also resonates for you. And that can go into so many different aspects. It can go into that a lot of times a message is being shared with one person because somebody else needs to hear it too, but you could also go, like Chris was just saying, what made you happen to turn into our reading that particular night to hear that particular message? Because you're not always there. You're not always on at that particular time. So what in the universe?
What stars had to align?
Yeah, that made the right person be at the right place at the right time to get the message they were supposed to get.
Well, I've noticed on some of your readings, you'll be shuffling away and one will fly out. Then you grab it. What's that?
Those are jumpers.
Jumpers?
Those are jumpers, yeah.
Okay.
So the theory is like,
the universe isn't going to give you the opportunity to fuck up this shuffle. I'm just going to give it to you now.
Well, yeah.
it's like, this one's so important. We're going to make sure that you see this card, so it flies out of there. Or to go back to the conversation of energy, kind of like we were talking about crystals, it had so much energy it needed to share. It itself right out of the deck, Now, with all that said, if you're shuffling your deck and you drop half of it, those aren't jumpers.
No.
Yeah, so be mindful. So if you drop the whole deck or half the deck, you just have fumble fingers, pick it up and do it again. But if one falls out, it's kind of like somebody going, hey, pay attention to me,
Interesting. I've never had a reading. Never.
You guys got to get down to a retreat sometime with us.
I know.
Good time.
I know that. Well, I don't have Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I don't see.
She never knows till I tell her.
Post them on Insta.
Do you? How do I not see them all the time? I mean, I see some of your guys' posts on there, but I don't see them all.
You have to be a better stalker, Allison.
I guess so. I gotta stalk you more. I'll be on there every second. I'm just gonna have to just go to your page every day and just be like, okay, when are you gonna post
Check
something?
it out.
Check it out. Yeah, because I know.
Or we could try to let you know ahead of time when we're scheduling it, so you can.
That would be, yeah.
We can do that too.
Yeah, because neither one of us have ever done one of those yet, and I think that would be kind of interesting to do.
I think it would be very beneficial. It would be good for you guys, just because I know you guys are curious and you love learning things, but I think that it would be very good because we help you learn how to identify your own intuition, how to recognize what's yours and what's not. Help people learn how to not interact with energy that they don't want to. So I think it could be beneficial, definitely. When we're done here, I'll let you know the date of the next one that we have scheduled that we have not yet announced. So.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Ooh, secrets.
Secrets. Can't wait for the secrets. All right. Before we start wrapping things up, plug your guys' stuff, your social media, everything. When you guys have your expos, give it all out. Spew it like it's diarrhea of the mouth.
So I'll start with the expos because you'll do better with the wrapping up stuff. Hang on, I just got to make sure that she's okay first.
She's planning a wedding. She's calling you for advice.
No, she's in the hospital. She broke a muscle.
Oh, she did what?
It looks like she's in a hospital.
But
Sorry, it's my future daughter-in-law.
Oh, that's okay.
No, I just needed to check it wasn't other issues. So, okay. So the psychic and paranormal expos actually aren't a Traveler's Moon event. They're something that I and my mom have hosted for years, but we're obviously always there with our Traveler's Moon booth. And so we host 5 of them each year throughout the state of Iowa, and that is in Cedar Falls in March, Dubuque in April, Cedar Rapids in July, Ames in usually September or October. That one kind of bounces. And then Quad Cities is in November. So our next expo that we have coming up is March 15, 16?
16, 17?
I remember seeing it today.
Yep, it's March 15th and 16th in Cedar Falls.
St. Patty's Day on Monday?
Yes.
Wearing a kilt on the canning line.
Make sure you get up nice and high on those ladders, baby. But yeah, so that's our next one. But we actually have some other events coming up before the expos that Mom and I host.
So, I guess online for our online presence, you can find us anywhere on social media at Traveler's Moon Para. That is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is a big focus of ours right now. I don't sleep a lot these days.
Check us out. His lack of sleep.
And then information on like future events, that sort of thing, is www.travelersmoonpara.com. That is our online presence. If you want to find us in person, our year starts at the end of the month. We're going to be at the Dead of Winter event in Alton, Illinois. We're going to have the Intuitive Retreat February 22nd. There are still a couple spots on that, depending on when you air this episode.
Through an investigation in there, of course. So we have an investigation weekend.
Investigation on the 8th. You'll find us at Missouri Paracon at the end of February. Cedar Falls Expos, of course. The first of theirs in March, and that's just Q1.
Yeah, and then crazy, insane people. I don't know how you do it.
I mean, wait till you get to like April, May. June and July is stupid this year. For
June and July, I don't think we have free weekends.
Oh my lord. No way. Nope.
It's a good time.
I'm sure it's
out of trouble.
whatever.
That, right?
Yeah, sure I do. Well, thank you, Kelly and Chris, for being on the show. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking to you too.
I'm glad we could make it work. I know you guys have asked so many times and you've had to say, we can't, we're busy, I'm sorry. So
No.
I'm just glad we could make this one work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, eventually we're going to do another round table like the one you missed.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be towards the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well.
Okay. Yeah, definitely let us know.
Because that was fun. We just asked questions and let you guys go.
Yeah, we just drew them out of a cigar box and away we went. So it was, it was fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
It was. So yes, thank you everybody, and peace out until next time.